Hello everybody, Iain Robson here. Welcome back to Valley East USA. Alright, if you recall from the previous episode, we had a couple things going on, and one of the things we were doing was spreading slurry. As you can see, the slurry is fully spread down. So we're going to go ahead and progress time and see how things work out. Progress time one day ahead. And if you recall, I have that in here. Oh, that's a shame. I keep forgetting to take that out. Well, apparently the wheat's ready. So I have the growth control manager in here, so that's why this was that grew in one day. It should take 4 days, but when you have mods that conflict with it, this is what happens. So for example, here I have the soil mod installed, and I also have the growth manager installed, so that's why we had this crop grow for the very first time right off the bat, fully grown. So that does create a few problems like that one we just saw. So that's unfortunate, but whatever. I'll take it out next time, and we'll go from there. That's the funny thing. X5, X2, so that's not too bad for nutrients. We do need some phosphate and potassium. I guess that would be PK. I guess that's what's supposed to be, at least. So I guess what we can do then is we can actually harvest this, and if this is grown, I suppose all the grass is grown as well. We'll have to double check that in a second here. Let's come over here and just double check this. Yeah. Okay, so at the end of this recording, I'll have to take that out. Now, let's see. Are these mature? Not yet. So they need another day or so. So what we'll do is we'll grab our Cat Lexion here, and we will go ahead and harvest that crop. We might as well. It's grown now. But now I need to remember to take it out at the... What am I doing here? I want to turn around. Now I need to remember to turn it off, or take that mod out at the end, because both maps I'm playing on right now have soil mod on them now, so I really don't need that mod at all anymore. Alright, let's set up, I think right here is a good spot. Now we don't need any straw, which is fine. So we'll get this guy lined up here, like so. And we will detach that, and we'll unfold this guy here. And what we'll do is we'll do the harvesting, and then we'll have the John Deere unload us. There we go. Got that lined up. I forget who was mentioning in the comments, but someone was mentioning usually the headers for Cat Lexion combines are actually black. So I actually tried to figure out. I tried to mess around with the different colors a while back, and I wasn't able to get any other color other than that one, basically. So, at least not the one that I remember. There may have been a color, I just missed it, which is possible as well. Let's grab that, attach that, and we'll set this guy to not seeding. We'll set him to F10 unload, and the nearest right there, right there. Select manually. I always select manually just because they're able to find the combine a lot easier. And where are you going? Okay, that's perfect. Alright, let's go ahead and get combining then. Stick the pipe out. And what we'll do is we don't want to make any straw, so we'll just make some whatever comes out of the end here. Chaff. There we go. Oh my goodness. Alright, so let's get this guy rolling here. I think this guy can go a little fast if memory serves. Yeah. He can go at 7. Well, it's actually a bit slower than I remember. We'll go with it for the time being, though. So as you can see, what will happen here is, the interesting thing about the soil mod is when you have chop straw mod installed like we have here, and you have the soil mod, what will happen is you'll be able to actually turn this straw over, and you will be able to increase your nutrients in your soil, which is kind of neat. One of the neat little things about the soil mod, at least I think it's neat. Probably not everybody agrees with me, but I think it's one of the neater aspects of it. So what we'll do is, I think we might have to sell this right off the bat. Well, maybe not. We'll see. Of course, because if we don't sell it, we might go into the red. We'll see. All right, let's Let that finish spraying its chaff out, and then we'll make a turn here. And we'll just come back in the same way we just came. There we go. As you can see, the John Deere is coming towards us now. Let's set this to 13 kilometers an hour, which is probably a bit more appropriate than 17, but I don't know. It's different for everything. You probably would go slower with wheat or wheat or barley or anything that's a high yielding crop, basically. Whereas here in the game, you can go whatever the vehicle lets you go, basically. So here, for example, I can slow right down or I can speed right up. I'm gonna keep it at 13 though. That seems to be a nice pace, and hopefully the John Deere will be able to keep up with that. I don't know for certain, but we're gonna find out here. So while this guy's unloading, I'm just gonna grab the Big M, and we'll get this guy working away on this field over here. There we go. We'll get him working away right here on this field, and we're not going to worry about the raking side of things, so that doesn't actually make us more money in that scenario. What are we looking for? Pasture, mow, 13 meters. There we go. And start the nearest waypoint, and enable wide spreading. No. Let him do his thing, and go back to the combine. There we go. So that guy will stick around and do his. We'll go around and unload all of that. Cut all that area while we're doing this. So at least he's being productive instead of just sitting there. It's an expensive piece of equipment to have laying around. Like in reality, like could you imagine having like a $400,000 piece of equipment just sitting there doing nothing? Basically, it would make it very difficult to justify having it if it were sitting around like that. There we go. Just drive around here. So one of the interesting things about soil mod is when you actually when you get the nutrient levels right, you actually get a pretty big yield out of it. So like here, I only had the nitrogen at the right point, not the phosphorus or potassium. So if I had both at the right levels, we would have had a fairly huge harvest, I would imagine. Do I have that installed? Oh, I do. Good. Left Shift H. We'll leave it to auto. Missing a little bit there. What I was fiddling with right there is basically just a function that automatically adjusts the header of the header. So if you are using a corn header, usually it works a bit better with that as opposed to a grain header, but it works either way, basically. What will be nice is once those bales are fermented over there on the left, we'll be able to make probably a pretty good little bit of money, and that will definitely help out in this situation because we aren't doing so hot for cash. Although as soon as we start harvesting our hay crop, we'll be fine, basically. Which will be nice. I don't know how much money we'll make on the end, but it'll be nice to have hay crop. So basically what we're doing is we're basically eliminating the need for the rake or the tedder in this case, but we wanted to try it out just to see how it would work, and as you saw, it's not necessary in terms of price, at least on this map. Maybe on other maps is different, but from what I can tell, it doesn't seem like it makes a difference in terms of price. So every map's a little bit different, and depending on what the map author decided to include, it will change just the little things usually. So for example, you can add stuff like, what's a good example? I think you can actually adjust the prices to have custom prices as well, and then make it so, depending on what you're selling, you can actually, make more money or less money. But nowadays, not many people go that far with with prices of crops and whatnot. So a lot of people just choose not to do that. For example, like Cavalier Roy used to do that with the newbie farm when it first came out, but now it's not necessary anymore. We're gonna have a problem with the weeds, it looks like, on this field if we're not careful. So I'll have to be careful. We'll have to plow them under at the very least. It's funny, right now is the time when a lot of people are doing fall tillage here in Ontario, at least, so you'll probably see a lot of cultivators out there. I know I saw a couple of lambkins out in the field a week or so ago, so a lot of people are getting out there, making sure everything's done properly and all that jazz, so it should be kind of interesting. I know a lot of people have started planting winter wheat already in Ontario because they got their soybeans out of the ground now, or finished harvesting them. So because they got their soybeans harvested, they're putting the winter wheat in the ground. Now's the time to do it, basically. They say the earlier you plant winter wheat, the better it is, as far as I remember. As long as the ground's fit, it would be the way Wheat Pete might say it, because of course he's a very big wheat proponent. Well, grain, I should say. So like barley, oats, and all that jazz. Well, not so much. I don't know. Now, as far as I know, it's not really you don't really make very much money if you want to plant, oats or barley, I guess. No, most people do it for the straw, as far as I know, at least. Yeah, so we've actually almost have 40,000 liters already. So when this tractor comes back around here, we'll be actually able to make. We'll fill up these two trailers here. We'll probably be able to make a little bit of money from it, if it's necessary, at least. Nice. Is it going to fill it up? Yeah, it definitely is. 90%. Oh, it's going to be close, actually. Just barely. Just barely. It filled up that thing, just with a little tiny bit left. That's funny. The nice thing about this field is it's not too big, so you can finish it off relatively quickly. But this is an awfully big machine for this one field, so we're going to have to think about expanding into some other fields at some point too. Because having this big machine with all this enormous piece of equipment without much else to do is kind of pointless. We do have a corn header as well, remember? So theoretically we can plant corn, or we could sell it, one way or another. It's probably better to sell it, if I'm honest. There we go. Lift that up. Let's just check on this guy. How is he doing? Not too bad. Let's get this last little bit here. It's funny, this little section at the end here is going to take like 2 passes, and it's going to make our lives a lot more annoying than it needs to be. So what we'll do is this. There we go. That's good. I don't know how that tractor's in. Oh, never mind. Makes a lot more sense now as to why he's in traffic. I'm like, how is he in traffic? There's nobody there. I lied. There definitely is. There we go. Move that guy out of the way. Go back into the combine. There we go. The things you have to do. So what will happen is once those bales are fully fermented, we'll sell them, and we'll go from there. And we should make a good chunk of change from that, because each bale's worth like over 1,000. So if we get like 30 bales, which I think it's about 30 or 40 bales there. So if we make that, we'll probably make roughly about 30,000. Who knew? Are we gonna be able to get all of this? Ooh, just barely. We're gonna miss a little tiny piece of the end there, looks like. That's annoying. Oh, sure, now we're able to do it. Interestingly enough, the contractor that does my father-in-law's farm, this year they were testing out a 35-foot flex draper head like this. And they actually found that with that 35-foot header and the drapers as opposed to the auger style, they're actually able to go, I think he said 1.5 miles an hour faster, which is pretty significant when you're doing like thousands of acres. So that was kind of a little random tidbit of information that I found out this weekend. I thought that was kind of interesting, the fact that they're actually able to determine that. So the funny thing is, they're actually instead of buying the header, they're actually just using a demo, which is kind of funny. So they're just testing it out to see how well it's going to work. So they apparently they did quite a bit of work with that header to determine the feasibility of using it. But the header price, like they were saying, the price of the header is $110,000 just for the header. Put that into perspective. So that's a 35-foot header. So this one right here, in what we have is, I think it's a 40-foot, 45-foot. Oh, it doesn't say. Let's try the in-game ones because it's the same size. 45 foot. So this price probably isn't very accurate. Like that was a John Deere, I think it was like a 35-foot header, so it was like a 635C or something like that. But it was $110,000. And the same style as this, so this is probably underpriced in the greater scheme of things. Whoa. Just to put it in perspective, I thought that was kind of crazy when they said that. I was like, $110,000. That's nuts. Like, I can't even imagine like having that kind of money to spend on something like that. Like, it's incredible. So many people don't realize the cost of farming. It really surprises me, honestly. Like, I've mentioned to a couple of students once or twice, like, do you have any idea how much it costs to, like, buy a tractor, a new tractor, let's say? And like, I don't know, like 10,000. I'm like, try like 40, 50, 60, 70. Depending on what you get, it goes like upwards of 200, 300,000. Like, what? Because, they think of that, and that's like their house, basically. So basically, depending on the size of the farm, like some farmers have, multiple houses driving around, so to speak. So, I don't know. It really surprises me. Just one of those things. People have to realize it. But sooner or later, they'll come to realize these things, I think. And that's kind of where the role of like Twitter and Facebook and all the social media channels come into play, like YouTube, for example, where farmers are telling people, hey, this is what's happening on the farm. So, for example, like One Lonely Farmer or Farmer John, for example, they're giving people information about what's going on their farm, so people realize, hey, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There we go. Lift the header up there. For the rest of that chaff. There we go. Let's get this last little strip over here. Such an annoying little strip, but if we don't get it, we're just going to be wasting precious income that we need right now. There we go. And how much money are we going to make? I wonder. So if we bring up our information here, we have 47,000 liters worth of wheat just stored already. So by the time we finish this, we'll probably get into the 60,000 liter area, something like that, I would suspect. I would think, at least. Oh, even that little section is full. So that's another 20,000 liters. Alright, let those guys do their thing. And let's get this last little bit of wheat here. Probably like the most ridiculous way of getting it, but there we go. Perfect. Make sure not to miss any. Nice. It's funny though, I was talking to the guys, the contractors who were doing my father-in-law's farm there, and I was asking them about cameras on their header. And they said they already had like 3 cameras in there, and they couldn't put any more because the wireless transmissions of the various header or of the cameras wouldn't work well together, sort of thing. So they actually, I asked them because, like, how remember there's the class Lexion has the cameras on the edge of the header there, but not too many other mods have it. But I asked him about that because that's what I kind of thought of. And he's like, yeah, that probably wouldn't work out very well for us because we already have X number of cameras, sort of thing. Alright. Let's get this little section here. Here we go. Let's back up and get the rest of that little section. If I hadn't noticed it, I probably wouldn't have cared, but in this case, I totally noticed it. There we go. That's better. Looks like we got about 3 passes left, and then we'll be done. So what we're going to try and do is, I think we're going to have to get a plow on this field and plow this under. So we'll have to see how that works out. the in-game plows. I haven't used them in a while. Let's see. That's the biggest one. We can actually use this one. I don't know. I can't remember if you need to plow it or just cultivate it under. I think you just need to cultivate it under, now that I think about it. This is what happens when you go away and stop playing with soil mod. You forget these little tiny things like that. So then you're like, is that it or is that it? So I constantly find myself asking the questions. I'm like, I'm not 100% sure which is which. So wonder how far that. Oh, there we go. Chrome Big M is done. That's what I was just wondering about. All right, let's set this guy on the big field then. And we'll go from there. So let's get him on field number 10, and we'll have him mow that up. And 10, or is it 9? Sorry. Let's see, 9, mow 13. There we go. And then we'll get this guy rolling there, and we'll start selling some bales because we need the money. But the really big influx of money will definitely be those silage bales there. But the problem is, of course, that we can only make those once every 2 days, I guess it looks like. Technically. So I guess they're a little bit less than half per bale, I suppose. So maybe in the end it would be better to do silage bales every single time? I don't know. It's hard to say. Alright, let that guy do his thing. Make sure he gets off on his way properly. I guess technically I could do this and probably be a quicker start. Let's go to nearest. There we go. Perfect. Let's get back at this. Finish this off this episode. Nice little wheat harvest here. We'll be able to... It's interesting, actually. Depending on what type of a crop you're harvesting, and the chop straw mod, of course. With corn stalks, I think, it increases... They all have varying amounts of nutrients in them, which is kind of neat. So you can see whether they increase it by a lot or a little, depending on what you're planting, which I think is kind of neat. I'm going to request a driver here, and once I turn around, he should be right there, I suspect. There we go. And we'll turn around. Try not to hit the tree. There we go. Nice. Oh, really? That's a shame. One thing I don't understand is why does your like combine just stop and not function anymore once you fill? Like technically what would happen is you'd overfill, right? I think that's what happened in some other games. I think Professional Farmer was like that, I want to say, and maybe Farm Expert was like that as well. I can't remember. All right, move, go. There we go. Sheesh. Continue our harvest here. Sheesh. But yeah, I think Farm Expert was like that. So it had the capability of overfilling your harvester, which I thought was kind of neat. Let's just send him home. So I have a feeling the last little bit's going to be just a little bit more than what he has left in that trailer. That's another 40,000 liters then. That means we'll be up to about 80,000 liters. Maybe we'll crack 100 then. Sweet. I knew wheat was the good choice. But that's like kind of the factors involved in like the soil model. So if you manage your nutrients properly, it's good. And if you don't manage your nutrients properly, then you'll run into problems, of course. But that's always the case. Especially in real life too. Like in real life, you have some really interesting problems. Like, you know, what was the one I was reading about the other day? It was a problem with soybeans, and it was like black spots on your soybeans. It just, as far as I remember, it didn't actually like hurt your yield at all, but it just didn't look good, sort of thing. Like stuff like that. There's so many like diseases that you can crop up with at various times for various reasons. Like sometimes it's related to moisture. So for example, if it is a high moisture year, you might run into white mold issues, for example. If it is a low moisture yield, you might run into other problems. So everything's working against you basically as a farmer. There we go. Let's finish this last little bit here. Nice. Be the last pass. We'll see how much we actually make from this in the end. Hopefully it's a good amount, because right now we're at just unloading there, so we'll see what we end up with. 70,000 should be 71,000. So maybe we won't end up with quite 100, but it might be a little close. Oh, is this going to be two? Looks like it's going to be two passes. Oh well. But we're going to fill up before that tractor comes back. So that means we're going to get, maybe we definitely will get over 100,000 then. Nice. Well, that tractor's definitely not going to ever make it back in time. He's over there somewhere. Maybe if I slow down a little bit. To a slow crawl. Maybe. 5 kilometers an hour? No, it's going to hit 100. That was a nice thought. Alright, gotta wait for him to come back then. Let's check out this guy. How's he doing? Doing very nicely. Actually, what we can start is, where is this guy? We'll grab the Master Ferguson here, and we'll get him baling with the case baler here. I did pick up an interesting mod the other day. It would be in mixing, or maybe it's not. Miscellaneous then? I don't know. Maybe I didn't put it in. I guess I downloaded it, but I didn't put it in. That's what happened. Oh well. I'll have to show it another time though. But it's a pretty cool little mod. It looks like a neat mod at least. So there we go. Get this guy rolling. And where are we here? That was the pasture that he's working on, or should be working on. Pasture mow 13. There we go. First field waypoint. There we go. Just gonna set that guy on his way like that. That's silly. Apparently I couldn't get positioned properly. There we go. But you know, it's this tractor, this combine I should say. It's funny because, like I said before, like it unloads super quick, but it's actually not. It's not a bad thing per se. It's just one of the oddities of it. Someone definitely pointed out this already, but you know, if you adjust the unloading speed, then it will unload faster, obviously. And as that same person pointed out, it is just a reskin of the New Hollands. It just says cat on it. That's all. But it's kind of cool. This is what we would see. We wouldn't see Klosses here in. That's not sure. We are starting to see Kloss, like, but it's like Kloss Lexion affiliated with cat sort of idea. Not necessarily. We don't see Kloss in the Kloss colors that you would see it in Europe. You would see it in like this color. There we go. Let's get the last little bit here. And it's just request. And then we'll put the pipe in. What we'll do is we'll just let the tractor follow us to the end. And then once we are ready to unload, we'll just unload. We probably won't have very much left, but that's fine. That's fine by me. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to get a plow of some sort to plow this under. But the question is, how much should we spend on a plow? I don't think there's many. I noticed the John Deere Ripper that Joe Lindbergh did, but I haven't seen much else other than that. So we'll have to see. All right, last little bit here. Let's get ready for the pipe. There we go. Actually, the problem with this tractor is, or this combine, is if I put the pipe out now, it'll just unload like before it's finished harvesting. All right, here's the test. We have the last little bit here. Oh, that was lucky. There we go. Nice. So let's put the pipe back in. Send that driver home. It's too bad you couldn't like there's not like a master control for all the vehicles. That'd be kind of cool if we had that. Let's lower that and put that out, and then we can fold this guy up and take him out of the way too. And let's see how much we ended up with. How much grain we ended up with. Whoops. There we go. What's this? What's the final number? That's what we're kind of curious about here. There we go. We'll put this back where we found it, which of course is underneath the shelter there, and we'll go from there. Alright. Let's bring this information up. 93,000, so we should end up with roughly 110, somewhere in that area, I suspect. Or that will probably be the final tally, I imagine. Something like that. No, because actually more than that, because the first trailer's full, now that I think about it. So we'll actually get over 120 then? Nice, that's pretty sweet. That's a lot more than I thought we were going to get. I'm okay with that, though. I'm okay. There we go. 114. Nice. There we go. Leave this guy here, hop into this guy. Then we'll just take over. Sweet. That is awesome. And then we will place this back where, from whence it came, which is right here, basically. A little bit more out of the way. There we go. Sweet. All right, folks. What I'll start doing then is I'll start getting these guys to start unloading or selling some of these bales, and we'll go from there. And then hopefully we'll make a little bit of money, be able to get a plow, and go from there. That's it for me for today, folks. My name is Iain Robson. It's been another episode of Valley East USA. Of course, playing Farming Simulator 2015. And if you enjoyed yourself, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Catch you guys later.